All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual set to compete at Unified MMA 46, which goes September the 23rd. Stephen Beaumont and Michael Hill getting out there into the cage to test skills, and happy to be talking to Michael once again. How's your day going so far there, man?
Day's going good, man. It's hot out here in Victoria. Just got off work and talking to you, and then heading to training.
And you're still getting in work at like the usual spaces and stuff like that. Like, who are the main, I guess, like sparring partners and everything ahead of this one?
Yeah, actually, me and the family just moved to Victoria this summer, so got all settled in, and I decided to do my training camp this time at TFA for the final 5 weeks, and there's David Pookie runs that gym. So his team of, jiu-jitsu athletes, Muay Thai athletes, Phil Ingroff's Muay Thai coach, David Pookie's the jiu-jitsu coach, and then Coach Cassius is the boxing coach. And I started coaching the MMA class there. So, summertime's kind of hard to find training partners. Everyone's kind of on holidays. So summer just ended. So we'll probably see a lot more people rolling in, but we've got the work in. And prior to that, I spent 6 months up in Kelowna with my old team, with David Lee and Toshido. We were actually trying to get a fight within those 6 months, and I was actually taking my real estate course up there. I was kind of following David Lee's footsteps. Went back and got to hang out with the old team and my old coach up there, and kind of get the mojo back, and so yeah, it's been good, man. It's been a good 7 months, and we got about 2 weeks left here till the fight. 3 weeks left here, so things are looking good.
Yeah, and you mentioned that real estate situation. Do you have that license now? Is that still an ongoing thing you're studying for? Because that sounds interesting.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's a pretty tough course. Everyone I talk to is, the toughest courses there is out there. And, I actually studied pretty hard, and I failed my first attempt at the course. So you need 70%. I got 67%.
Yeah, I mean, in the ballpark. I mean, I guess probably Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I think I got about a year and a half left. So you can take the test every 3 months. You can continue your studies throughout the 2 years. So, kind of study on your own, study at your own pace, and, take the course, take the test when you think you're ready.
Yeah, I would think probably lessons learned from, I mean, obviously it's a different endeavor, but maybe even just some of the lessons learned from your career as a martial artist, maybe you learn how to navigate some of those situations and adapt for the next situation, just the resolve and everything.
Yeah, you know what, man? I actually, when the pandemic started, and the gyms closed down and stuff, I started a handyman business. And through that handyman business, I met a pretty big real estate guy, and he ended up sponsoring me and said, "Hey, go take the course. I think you'll be good at it." It's just one of those things, man. I've seen David Lee doing really well in real estate, and he's, the one guy I look up to most. And, just kind of the universe kind of gives you what you need. So I jumped on that opportunity, and who knows, who knows if it's for me, who knows, if I'll go through with it. But, there's a lot of people telling me I couldn't do it, couldn't pass. And, it's just one of those things. You work hard, you do good to people, you get good opportunities. And then when people tell me I can't do something, I got to run full steam ahead and prove everyone wrong. So, yeah, man, it's just another tool on the belt. It's just, I'm always, learning. I believe truly in, once you stop learning, you start dying. And I just like having different tools on the belt and being able to adapt to the world around me, and just being better every day, a little bit better every day. And if you can learn something new every day, then you're always growing.
Yeah, that's a great way to be looking at it, for sure, man. And I imagine you're quite excited getting back to it. You talk about being in such close proximity to the card, being a couple weeks, maybe even a bit more than that out from it, and just not having competed for, a little bit now, close to 2 years there, not for lack of trying, obviously, but I would imagine the excitement is pretty tangible as you're getting closer.
You betcha, man. I'm excited to get back in the cage, especially on such a, obviously the biggest stage in Canada. I believe Unified is the biggest MMA promotion outside the UFC in Canada. And, they're always putting on the biggest shows. And, the other day, they came out with a poster saying, fastest sellout in Unified history. And, it seems like every fight I'm on, every fight I'm part of, is just making, Canadian history, whether it's myself or whether it's the card I'm on with the other amazing fighters. And it's just another great chapter to my book, to my legacy.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you've been a part of a lot of really big events all throughout the country and just in a lot of different, provinces and whatnot, too. Just, XFFC previously and, Elite One and just, so many different promotions like World Series of Fighting when they came through Canada and stuff like that. So I feel like you'd be a good person to ask about. BFL experience previously, too. I feel like Unified is really carrying the flag for, Canadian MMA, too, and being on, UFC Fight Pass, and you mentioned the sellout. So, yeah, definitely an exciting promotion to be a part of.
You betcha, man. 100%. And like I said, after the me and Shane were supposed to fight there, I didn't think, something like that, I'd get another opportunity and, a big show like that again, right? So, again, like I said previous, it just goes to show, when you work hard and you put yourself out there and, you do good things, people recognize that and, people want to help you succeed in their journey and they want you part of their journey. So, both thanks to Sonny for having me and I'm going to put on a show for the Canadian MMA fans and for Sonny and for Unified and the Edmonton fans.
Yeah, and you did touch on that Shane Campbell fight, and fair play if you don't want to talk about this as much, but it being in close proximity to the fight card and then the withdrawal happening there. What was going on behind the scenes? Is that something you can divulge, or maybe not so much?
I just woke up that morning and I couldn't move, man. My body just was shut down, and yeah, and that's just what it was. It was just wasn't my day, The world was giving me a test that day, and I couldn't get through it. And you know what I mean, man? That people don't realize is that was that was a big chance for me, big opportunity. Beating Shane, I probably would have been I probably would have got a call to the UFC. I would have been, a champion of the biggest Canadian promotion, and I would have had my biggest payday of my career in MMA. It was a huge payday for me. And so, that's how I put food on the table for my family. That's how I pay my rent. That's how I paid for my 3-month training camp. So, you could imagine, how much work I put into that. And for me to not be able to get the Jets going that day, and I was completely heartbroken. You know what I mean? I was going home empty-handed. In all ways, empty bank account. Everything that I thought I was working for. The belt. I thought possibly my last chance at the big show opportunity, as they were watching and we had people watching. So what am I supposed to do, man? I didn't know, I didn't know what to do other than just kind of, be by myself for a bit. You know what I mean? It's not like Unified was going to pay me my money, and go pay my bills for me. Right? It's not like, the UFC was going to sign me. The managers watching were going to sign me. So, it didn't matter what happened. I was going home and I had to obviously put back on my work boots, strap up, and get back to fucking work. That's what I've been doing, right? I'm not going to play, victim here or not, but, that's just what I had to do, right? I just couldn't get the Jets going that day, and here I am now, almost a year later. I think it's 1 day short of a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, man, everything happens. The vision stayed the same. The goals stayed the same. It's just you just have those days. being a fighter, and especially, I think I was number one in the country at the time. Other than Shane, it's just so alien, man. It's just, there's just nothing else like it. I mean, I'm sure other professional athletes can, talk about the same thing, right? All the screaming fans and the big show and all the pressure and the next level and what, all comes it's just, it's just so alien. And, it's, for me, I'm still just a human, right? I still make mistakes like everybody else. I still have bad days like everybody else. And, some days I just can't get up and go to work, and that was one of those days. And it's not for lack of trying. We're getting there. I did everything right. I felt so fucking sharp. That camp, and our team thought we had all the tools to beat Shane that night and everything. And I don't know why. I'm not sure. But, I truly believe the universe hands you everything you need. And so I've taken all that and I've recalibrated, and, I'm coming back even stronger.
Yeah, and that was something I was going to touch on. You were talking about how it's just a day shy of 1 year since that. Based on the way you're talking about everything, it seems like you wouldn't think of this as just a random coincidence. Maybe there's some poetic kind of aligned with your destiny kind of thing going on. Do you think it's more of that than just random coincidence there, just it being a day shy of a year since the Campbell fight?
Of course, 100%, man, 100%. You betcha. And, and then that's the thing, too. It's things happen for a reason, right? Storylines happen, for a reason, and opportunities, come and go. And, for example, that night Matt Krako got an opportunity of his life. You know what I mean? And he got to go out there and put on a show in front of everyone and fight Shane to tough fight that, many people, huge underdog. And, and I got to go back to work. I got to go back to work and, work on myself. And that's exactly what I've done. And, that night wasn't my day. That day wasn't my day. That night wasn't my night. And I got to come back here September 23rd, back to Edmonton, back to the River Creek, back to Unified, and, put on a show and show everyone my skill set and, my proper belonging to, still, the MMA world, Canadian MMA world, and the bigger shows.
Yeah, I feel like you have a good opponent to do that with as well. Just, another high-level guy. So it would look like one of those fights where it's just two of the bigger, more prominent Canadian talents kind of going at it, though. So, how do you, observe, Stephen Beaumont? What in your estimation does he really, do well? What does he bring to the table as a fighter, from what you can tell?
Well, I'm not really sure where he's at. He hasn't been trained in as much and as hard as I have been for the last 4 years. I think he's been out for 4 years. So whether he's started to decide to take a fight in 12 weeks or not, you can only get so ready in 12 weeks, for a fight against someone who's been training for the last 15 years every day, hasn't stopped. But that, again, that doesn't mean that, I'm not ready for, the toughest and baddest, Beaumont. The guy's a tough guy, right? I remember when I first started MMA, he was a big name. And, fought on a couple cards with him. And, he was always, being talked about again, but, going to the UFC, he just couldn't get that next win. He couldn't get that win over that, next tough guy. I know he's got good Muay Thai, stand up. He likes to fight, so the dog's not out of him, that's for sure. But, I believe I'm better than Stephen everywhere. And, he's got a lot of pressure fighting in his hometown, coming back. And then, I'm sure as hell's not taking me lightly. You know what I mean? So, I'm ready for the fight to go wherever. I'm ready for, whatever Steve throws at me. But, everyone I fought's tougher than anyone he's fought. And, I'm his toughest test. He's definitely not my toughest test. So, it's gonna be a fight. I'm ready for whatever, man. Anything can happen inside that cage. Look what Leon Edwards did to the champion Kamaru Usman a few weekends ago. Right, so I'm ready for everything Stephen brings, and Stephen better be ready for everything that I'm about to put on him.
Yeah, and I think it's fair that you mentioned the competitive hiatus there. Like, I was actually at that last card he competed at, 2018, May there. He fought Shane Campbell there, and it's just, been a decent period of time since then. So does that make it sort of a difficult opponent to kind of game plan for, in a sense? Like, does it more become about, like, your individual refinement and just focusing on what's in your wheelhouse as opposed to thinking what he might bring to the table, having been out of competition for over 4 years now?
No, not really, man. Not at all. I mean, even like, I remember that too. I think he was out 2 years before that last fight with Shane Campbell, and he looked pretty good. For the time he did fight. So, no, it doesn't make it all, man. I started this game with the best MMA team in Canada. I was bred a mixed martial artist. I didn't have just jiu-jitsu. I didn't come from a karate background. No Muay Thai, nothing like that. I believe in my whole game, my game as a whole. I'm a full-rounded fighter, and like I said, I just believe I'm better than Steven everywhere. So, we got to get back to fighting my game. The last, I don't know. Ever since I left David, I've kind of taken myself under my own wing, and I've kind of, tried taking on each fight as, what they're good at, tried beating them at their own game. And, it's not a bad thing, but there's a part of my game where I'm very dominant. And I just got to get back to that, man. Win the fights. Get in there quick, finish them quick. And, always ready for a dog fight, man. I love fighting, so if it's a dog fight, it's a dog fight. And that's what I do. That's what I am. I'm a fighter, so we're ready for whatever.
Yeah, and this is kind of a random question, but I guess I thought of it just in the context of, like, you talking about, like, how long you had previously been, like, interwoven in the whole Toshido MMA fabric. Like, what were your thoughts hearing Rory Mcdonald announce his retirement and just, like, his broader place in Canadian MMA history?
Yeah, well, Rory's been my favorite fighter, my whole career. I'm always, keeping in touch with Rory, as much as I can. Always throw him a message before each one of his fights. And then, obviously, having a relationship with David Lee, I kind of get to pick David's brain about what, him and Rory, get to talk about, and, his fights and the camps and stuff and what he's going through and stuff. So, I think it's good for Rory. You know what I mean? I really do. And I'm happy for him. And, wow, I just look back on, when I started, and, I got about, 3 years just, being one of his main training partners and just seeing so many guys come through the gym and not being able to keep up with them. And helping him through his first 2 UFC fight camps. And, that's kind of, kind of my mindset when I go into each fight is I sparred and I got my ass handed to me by Rory Mcdonalds for 3 years. And, inside, the small gym at Toshido, I was lucky enough to be part of that original team of some of the best fighters in the world. There's a young kid named Rory Mcdonald that was just, going into the UFC when I walked into the doors. And for me to be a part of that is, just something not many people get to do. And, there's, a few years there where I was doing everything Rory was doing right beside him. Eating what he was eating, just, napping when he was napping.
Yeah.
Just trying to keep up to him, man. Just taking all the knowledge. And anytime I slipped up, he'd pound me out at the gym. And, teach me a lesson, and so yeah, it was something amazing to go through. I'm super happy for him and what he's done. It's been an honor watching him. You know, UFC, Bellator, PFL. You know, I'm always cheering for him and you know, following his journey, and it's really helped me along the way. And yeah, man, I'm proud of him, and I know a lot of people that are super proud of him, and will continue to look up to him. And you know, you're an inspiration, Rory, for a lot of Canadian fighters, man. Thank you.
Yeah, that's so cool getting that direct level of insight from you. Just really speaks to like how much of a powerhouse Toshido MMA has been in Canadian MMA history. But I'd be remiss if I didn't get some insights on this, because one of the last times we were talking, you were discussing like the ninja training you get in with the young ones in your family and stuff like that. Like, you seem super family oriented. Are the ninja costumes and the ninja masks getting broken out still? Is there that going on now?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the little guys are always ninjas, man. They're always going to be ninjas. Yeah. But yeah, jiu-jitsu just started up just as school got back here, so the kids are looking forward to putting back on their gis and you know, getting stripes on their belts, right? They really love going for those stripes on the belts, and you know, I just see the only thing that levels these kids up. You know, their confidence, knowing that it just really helps them all a lot. And I just couldn't be more proud of all of them. They're just sticking it out, continuing their jiu-jitsu journey. And, you know, hopefully they get to throw in the boxing gloves and do some Muay Thai classes. They get a little bit older here now as well. And stuff like that. But the kids' classes, they're just starting to open up for their age now. So yeah, man, it's pretty.
Yeah, that's a cool dynamic for sure. It must be fun to see them kind of come into their own, like you said, like develop that confidence and everything, but maybe even reminiscent of like the really like early, like nascent periods in you becoming a martial artist. So maybe there's the combination of both of those things, like it's their own journey, but maybe makes you think of your own beginnings of the journey a bit.
Yeah, totally. You know, and for me, it's like, you know, I had this talk with my oldest daughter last night, actually, because you know, we were talking about what kind of activities she wanted to go into, and you know, she just wanted jiu-jitsu one night a week, and you know, she was telling her mom that she actually didn't want to do it at all. But when she was talking to me, she has a different discussion, and you know, I never want to force my kids into doing anything, but you know, I had to really think about it, you know, and just let her know that I can tell why my oldest daughter doesn't want to do it, and she's not the aggressive type. And now that their kids are getting older and a little bit better and a little bit stronger and stuff, when it does come to the wrestling aspect of it, or now they're learning submissions and stuff, right? She doesn't really like being put in chokeholds or arm bars, or she doesn't have the aggressive to, you know, wrestle a bigger kid with, and stuff like that. So, you know, I had to, you know, think long and hard, you know, what I was going to say to her, and let her know that, like, you know, Daddy doesn't want you to grow up to be a fighter. I don't. If the kids want to do it, and one day, you know, I'm totally going to support them. That's not what I want. I'm doing this so they don't have to do it. I'm doing it because it's what I want to do. It's what I, you know, grew up doing, and I found something that I was passionate about and that I was good at, and that, you know, continued to turn me into a better person with every fight camp, every year. And so for her, I just said, like, you know, at 6 years old, she doesn't really understand her emotions yet, or when she's struggling to, you know, get something out or try something different, or something hard comes, or a little bit of adversity comes, right? And I told her, like, jiu-jitsu is making those times easier for you. And when you grow up, and as you get older, and, you know, mom and dad can't really be around you much, whether you're on a playground or you want to go to the mall with your friends, you know, or, you know, you see bullies on the playground, or, you know, someone comes and picks on you, or, you know, you travel to Mexico, or, you know, she goes on the boat a lot. You know, things can, you know, bad things can happen. Tough times can happen. And I said, jiu-jitsu is for the mind. Right? It strengthens your mind, and it teaches you about your emotions. It teaches you to control your emotions. And those times are going to come. Life isn't easy. Life is tough for everyone. And jiu-jitsu is going to make it easier. And I'm not saying you're in those situations all the time, but there's going to come a time when, you know, something hard comes your way, or when something tough comes your way, or when something scary comes your way. And trust me, sweetie, when you continue jiu-jitsu, even you don't think about it, jiu-jitsu is going to make those times for your body and mind stronger for you to get through it. And that's why I want you to go to jiu-jitsu, so you can protect yourself, so you can protect your friends, and so you can make the right decisions when those tough times in life do come. And, you know, and she never really, every time I try to have a sit down with her, you know, she just kind of goes in one ear and out the other, right? You know, at that age, you don't really understand. You're still learning how to tie your shoes. You know what I mean? You're still learning how to write your name in a straight line and stuff like that. So having a big conversation like that with her, like, she doesn't need. So what I said to her, I said, you know, so jiu-jitsu one time a week is mandatory. And she goes, Dad, what's mandatory mean? And I said, it means you have to do it. Yeah. And she just kind of laughed, and she just laughed, ah, ha, ha. And then, you know, and so we joked about that. But that's what I mean, right? She doesn't understand some words yet. She doesn't understand anger yet. She doesn't understand sadness yet. I mean, as adults, we still don't know that. Like, who teaches us ever about our emotions?
Yeah,
nobody does. We figure that shit out on our own, right? So for me, jiu-jitsu, that's the one thing in life that's helped me figure out who I am, what my emotions are, how to control my emotions, how to breathe properly. Everything like that, man. So I told her it's mandatory one time a week. She agreed, you know, and then it came out that, you know, that her friends are going up to the bigger class and this that class, and she wanted to go twice a week with these days. So it was just opening up and having that conversation, you know. And then, you know, I looked her right in the eyes and I said, and if you ever want a cell phone, you're 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, you got to go to jiu-jitsu. And she just kind of laughed. So I'm getting a cell phone pretty soon, Dad. And she, you know, wants a cell phone. It's 6 years old. Yeah, like, come on now.
Yeah.
So, no, it's just, you know, one of those things, man. It's, you know, those times are going to come. Those conversations are going to come. And I was just really happy to have that kind of conversation with her. And for once, you know, she continued to look me in the eyes. And I felt like I got through to her, and I felt like that conversation got through to her. And I'm super happy that, that all the kids are going to jiu-jitsu. And I wish, you know, the school system, I wish the government, you know, I wish people made it mandatory, man. It would help out a lot of people. Doesn't matter if you're a kid or an adult, man. Get your butt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's a great note to end things off on, and a lot of great insights. And to the point of great conversations, had a great one with you there, and I always appreciate you coming on, man. And yeah, looking forward to checking out the fight when it goes down on the 23rd. And yeah, just to reiterate, appreciate you coming on the show and giving a bit of time, and hopefully you enjoy the rest of your night there, Mike.
Anytime, brother. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, man, maybe we'll talk after the fight.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Look forward to it. All the best.
All right, brother. Stay safe out there.